Hello, and thank you for joining Wind Down Wednesday. I am Antonia Berry, CEO of Impersonations Atlanta and creator of the digital course called Strategy Academy. Today, we are going to continue on the 8-part series talking about the 8 things to consider when you start a law firm. Today, we are going to move to point number 2, which is going to discuss the correct or most suitable entity type that you should select or consider when you're starting your new law practice. So let's dive into the content. The first option that you have to consider when forming an entity to run your business or to practice or to do business as is a sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship means that you as a sole proprietor, meaning the sole beneficial owner of that business, will be assuming the liabilities that go along with that business. It also means that you are the personal guarantor. It also means that you are the direct point of contact and essentially the person in line to face any liabilities that come up with that business. For example, in the event that the entity is being sued, you are in direct line to assume responsibility for whatever lawsuits that may present themselves or any other type of liabilities that may show up. So those are things to consider as you determine whether or not a sole proprietorship is suitable for you. And like I said before, it is advisable for you to get legal counsel on this to determine what is the best option for you. The second option that you can consider is an LLC, and that's a limited liability company. A limited liability company allows you as the individual beneficial owner, or in the case that you have more than one owners, to be protected by this limited liability. This limited liability company will be registered with the state that you're in, and that way it's in place, and in the event that any lawsuits come up, you're able to protect your personal assets because you are operating as an LLC, a limited liability company. So you actually have a buffer in between you and the business, right? So that is a second option that you can consider. A third option to consider is a partnership. And a partnership is where you or another person join together to share the assets and liabilities of the entity that's been formed, and it's going to be operating to conduct business as a new law practice. This type of structure is typically low cost to start up. However, when you start a partnership, all the tax burden and everything that goes on with the business, the actual running of the business, and your responsibilities of the business are shared between yourself and your partner or partners. So that's just another option for you to consider if you wanted to look at other things outside of the couple of options that I mentioned previously. The last option to consider is to set up as a corporation. And this is where there is limited liability that's put in place. Again, very similar to an LLC. However, the tax benefits are slightly different on a corporation. And again, this is something that you should get tax advice and also corporate formation advice from an attorney to fully understand what the pros and cons are of each of these options, to fully understand them and to determine which one is the best and most suitable for you. In closing, one of the things that I would like to say is that while I can't give you legal advice, it is very important that you make great decisions here. You make considerations not only for the present but also for the future, and thinking about what the limitations can be, what the liabilities can be, and what issues you can come up and run into depending on how this structure is put in place. I highly recommend that you think it all the way through. And one of the things that I like to tell people, the key things when you're setting up an entity, or the key thing to think of, is who can or would the plaintiff be in the event that a lawsuit is filed, because that is essentially who you're protecting yourself against when you are in a business and you've run into some type of issue or dispute, or some frivolous litigation comes up. And that's going to help you to determine, how much risk do you want to take when setting up your entity? Do you want to limit your liability, or do you want to face the brunt of what could come up or what could happen in the event that a lawsuit is filed against you and coming after your personal assets? So, like I said, I can't give legal advice because I am not trained or certified to do that. However, I would say that you should give great consideration to this part of setting up your business. While it seems like just one of the things that you need to do to check the box to move to the next step, it's very important for you to consider all the things that go along with the liabilities and the tax burden and all that type of stuff that comes along with the way that your entity is formed. Again, my name is Antonia Berry. I am the CEO of Impersonations Atlanta and the creator of the Digital Core Strategy Academy. I want you to continue to join us each week as we move through this 8-part series to talk about the 8 things to consider when starting a law firm. At the end of this 8-part series, I will be posting this document in full to share with my audience these tips and tricks and important things to consider as you move along to starting your new law firm. Thanks for watching Wind Down Wednesday, and join us again for next week's episode. Thank you, and bye now.